gifts and care packages, from new parent to get well soon boxes. Strong wind advisory for the Manukau and Waitemata harbours. A southwesterly of 25 knots gusting 35, easing back to southerly 20 up to 30 late this morning. Strong wind advisory, Hauraki Gulf, southwest 25 gusting 35, rising to 30 hitting 40 for a time this morning. And there's a gale warning, Bream Head to Cape Colville, a westerly hitting 45 knots. The next high tide at Auckland, 1:30 this afternoon, and for Onehunga it's 5 o'clock this evening. For Auckland, fine apart from the chance of a morning shower. Gusty southwesterlies easing this afternoon. We're chasing 17, dropping back to a low of 6 overnight tonight. Tomorrow it's going to be fine with southerlies and a high of 15. Right now, 16.
Real talk on the biggest issues. It's Kerre Woodham Mornings with Pinnacle Life. Get a life insurance quote in just 30 seconds. Newstalk ZB.
Newstalk ZB. I can't see the clock. There is no clock in here, but I assume it will be around about 10 past 10. Kerre Woodham with you, and Police Commissioner Richard Chambers, who has been in the top job for just over 18 months. And a very good morning to you. You started with a hiss and a roar, didn't you? Bloody hell, you barely...
It's been a full-on 18 months, but I've loved every moment of it.
Yeah, I bet you have. Now, the issue of your superintendent, Rakesh Naidu, confirming he was high on Labour's list and when he revealed it and when he didn't, does it matter? Because...
It does matter, Kerry. The reason being is that, there are very clear police guidelines and also public service guidelines about public servants who aspire to politics. And that's about making sure the expectation is you tell your employer as soon as possible about your intention. Now, I learnt about this not from Rakesh, but late on Thursday last week, and as Chris Hipkins has said this morning, conversations between Labor and Rakesh have been going on for a couple of months. So ideally, we would have known a couple of months ago, then we could have put some things in place to ensure that the impartiality of police is paramount, and also that Rakesh is allowed to have those conversations, but with the knowledge of his employer to ensure that both he and the organisation stays safe. So, as I said yesterday, I was disappointed to learn so late in the piece because I've got a job to do and there's guidelines in place for these situations.
He was probably waiting to see, just how high on the list he would be. He wanted that confirmed before he jumped, I'd assume.
Possibly, but that is not an exception to the guidelines that are there. And
so as soon as he made overtures, or as soon as Labor made overtures, he should have said to you or to his supervisor that
either or.
Potentially
his supervisor or directly to me. I've worked with Rakesh for many years. He's very good at what he does as a senior police officer. He could have told me directly. I've seen him many times over the last 2 months. And likewise potentially his supervisor. But either way, we needed to know a lot earlier than we did, so that the impartiality of police remains front of mind, and that he can continue conversations in the full knowledge that we are aware, and then everybody's kept safe, frankly. And
when you say safe, are there some things you would not have talked about in front of him because he could have taken that information? He can now take that information away, give it to his Labor colleagues and say this is what the police are planning to do under the coalition government.
Well, of course, I would hope that never does happen. But the whole reason the guidelines are in place and the Electoral Act says what it says is to ensure that the police or any public servant is kept safe and impartial. But the thing is with Rakesh and his role, he's a senior police officer. So on a very frequent basis, he is involved in conversations that are about public safety, governance, things that are important to the direction of policing. And as a senior public-facing police officer, it's absolutely critical that he tells his employer at the earliest opportunity, so ideally a couple of months ago. And then we could have put things in place so that there could be absolutely no question that he was involved in conversations or kept out of conversations that might have actually had a policy implication or something like that. So it's all, the guidelines are there for a good reason, and as you've seen in the last couple of days, when they aren't followed, it's a bit unhelpful, frankly.
Right, because everybody would have their own political bent. They would be, say, more attuned to the Costa style of policing and the Labour government's policies, perhaps, than the coalition government's way of policing and perhaps your style of policing. So you're allowed to have those thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, of course you are.
But it doesn't inform your job.
That's right. It's what you do about it, and it's how you take that into the workplace. But it's really, really critical that the police are impartial in everything that we do. We don't take sides. We get on, we do the job for New Zealanders without that political influence. So it's really quite simple from my perspective, actually. Just tell your employer early so that we can do something about it. You
can make decisions about what's revealed to him.
Absolutely. But, his aspirations also aren't problematic for him or our organisation. Or they're there for a reason. And as a senior police officer, he is naturally involved in conversations that could have an impact on policy and things down the track.
So he could take, theoretically, as his dowry to the Labour Party, information he gained as a senior police officer that could inform their election campaign as we go into an election this year.
Well, he's a sensible individual, what I will say, and I would hope that is not the case, because that would call into question his integrity, frankly. And so I would hope that he understands those boundaries very clearly. And over the next wee while, obviously, Rakesh and I have got some conversations to have around how we navigate that space. But, he's... Is
he off the job now?
Well, actually, he's about to go on a period of... pre-organised leave, so that's his leave. That's so he'll be off on leave, and has been planning that for some time. That will happen, and then over the next few weeks we'll be able to work out where to from here.
All right. Now I do have a text here. Please ask the Commissioner how he intends to restore the morale of his staff after the insulting wage offer he made. Beneficiaries got more of a pay rise. Signed, angry, undervalued staff member of 30 years.
Yeah, Kerre, look, obviously I can't talk in detail about the pay round. That's a convention that I need to ensure that is preserved, so I can't provide details. But as the Police Commissioner and as a policeman myself, of course I want the best for my staff. But we also have to work within the parameters and the guidelines that we have. So that's as far as I can go. But of course, and I've said this quite openly to Steve Watt, the president of the Police Association. His members are my colleagues. Of course, we want the same thing, and that's as far as I can go. But we have to also work within some parameters which are well understood.
Not that long ago, in yours and my living history, police officers, backbenchers, nurses, teachers had pay parity. Do you think that should still exist?
Look,
yes, you do, surely.
The guidelines that I have to work with are obviously, I would say, consistent in the public service. So, I can't
that's spoken
anymore.
like a public servant, but as a copper, surely you think the average police officer is worth the same as the average backbench MP?
I don't want to compare occupations and things like that, but I will always do my best for my staff, my colleagues. That's why I say I'm a policeman myself. I know the work that they do. I'm connected to them every day. It's a tough job. I want the best for them, but that's what I've got to do.
But how do you get more out of them? Like the MPs can just legislate for themselves. They can just legislate their pay up and up and up. What tools do you have to get more money for your officers who are being lured overseas with more money, better perks, better conditions?
Yeah, look, Kerre, I can't talk in detail about that, but of course, I'm very focused on the morale of my people, and over the last, wee while, we've worked really hard at that, because I think the morale of my colleagues across the country was quite low, and I think that we've brought back into focus doing the basics well. They're getting outstanding results. I'm very, very operational and very focused on the front line, and also ensuring I support the people that support the front line. So, I get out and about a lot, and I feel that their morale is in a better place now, and I appreciate the current negotiations. And, like that person that's written to you there, everyone's got a view, right? But of course I'm working as hard as I can for my people, because that's my job too.
It is, but there's absolutely no doubt the best way to boost morale is to say, you're amazing, we can't pay the same as Australia, but here's 20 grand per year each.
Well, again, I'm not going into details, but I speak to frontline staff all the time, and I get a sense from those conversations that they feel a lot better supported now. I do my best to ensure I've got their backs in what they do. It's a tough job.
Not helped by people like Jevon McSkimmon. No.
Well, no, that's right. Yeah,
that wouldn't have helped morale at all.
No, that's right. And look, I think that's why I think about the last 18 months, and the way that I've spoken in the public has been strong to ensure that when these issues play out publicly, there's a separation between those individuals and over 15,000 outstanding men and women across the country who do a great job day and night, and watching Trust and Confidence and how that's going in a good direction, which is up a couple of notches. And I think that Kiwis are sensible people, and they realise that police people, whether they're civilian or sworn, come to work and do their best, and we get great results for our country.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. 0800 80 10 80 is the number to call. Police Commissioner Richard Chambers is here in studio till 11. I have plenty of questions, but you are very, very welcome to ask questions of the Commissioner. That's why he's here. That's why he's in studio. Newstalk ZB 1017.
Want the easiest way to find out what's happening on Newstalk ZB? Download our free iHeart app and turn your notifications on. We'll let you know when the news breaks first.
There's a reason Big Ben pies are the go-to on Kiwi missions. You only need one hand to eat them, which is handy because the other one's usually busy adjusting that thing, holding the rod, prying something open, swatting a mozzie, closing the boot, catching a ball, opening the chili bin. You don't stop because you don't have to. That's the genius of the Big Ben pie. So when you're deep in a mission and hunger kicks in, grab one. Big Ben, feed your mission.
Spoil your furry friend with the very best from Louie and Phoebe Pet Boutique. Get set for winter adventures with cosy gold paw fleeces, stylish coats and lightweight waterproof rainwear. At home, keep them snug with luxurious handmade dog beds from Yorkshire in the UK. And for happy, healthy pups, try their New Zealand-made hypoallergenic dog food packed with premium local ingredients. Visit Louie and Phoebe in St Heliers or shop online at louieandphoebe.com.
Discover what's behind the curtain with Redgrave's Home Fabrics.
At Redgrave's Home Fabrics, when you visit our showroom, you will not be confused with thousands and thousands of samples. Instead, you will find a beautiful collection of carefully selected fabrics that you won't find elsewhere and that represent the very best for New Zealand-style homes. Make an appointment for one of our very passionate and skilled designers to call.
Discover the Redgrave's Home Fabrics difference for yourself. Visit redgraves.co.nz.
GVK Finance. Amongst other things, last month they financed the purchase of a new Hammer swing lifter container trailer, 3 6-wheel tip trucks, multiple agricultural assets, 2 equity releases, and even a JCB pivot steer loader. So what will GVK Finance be financing next month? Well, that's up to you. When it comes to asset finance, Greg and the team are the greatest asset of all. They're your trusted business finance brokers.
Say yes to DVS at Field Days and get huge savings on all DVS home ventilation systems. Your healthy home isn't complete without DVS. Find us at the Rural Living Marquee, Stand 17. DVS. T's and C's apply.
Don't miss the Toolshed store-wide sale from June 7th to 15th. Hot deals on Milwaukee, Makita, DeWalt, Hikoki, XHD Lithium, Truxton and more. Shop in store or online today. The Toolshed, Kiwi-owned, trusted by tradies.
Deb, balance, perspective.
So the Labour Party yesterday announced its final candidate list. It looks like there are some very capable, accomplished newcomers with real-life experience quite high on the list. It all looks good on paper, but until we see the candidates in action, do we get a real sense of them?
Parliamentarians have a really generous superannuation scheme, right? Every dollar that they put in, we, the taxpayer, match that with $2.50. Hands up who's got that deal at work. Literally no one.
Every view from every angle. Newstalk ZB.
Newstalk ZB Police Commissioner Richard Chambers is in studio. We've also got lots of questions coming in via text, but we do have one who's taken the time to give us a call. Lisa, thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Oh, is that me?
It is you.
Hi.
If you're Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa. Yes, I am. Hi, Kerry. Hi, Commissioner.
Hi, Lisa.
Gosh, this might be contentious, but I really want the answer, if that's okay. You must be aware of what's happening in the UK at the moment and how the police are being viewed. I would like to know, New Zealand police, sorry, I'm half from going out to my horse. Are New Zealand police being taught in their training critical race theory and two-tier policing?
Yeah, look, Lisa, I am keeping a close eye on what's happening in the UK. I think that all law enforcement around the world needs to be very conscious of how some actions can be perceived, and New Zealand is absolutely no different. So, my organisation for decades has worked really, really hard with all communities, and we've got to keep it that way. And I think what we've seen in the UK is where some of those decisions or some of those actions that are taken can land very, very badly. So we have spoken about that as a police executive. We've spoken with our district commanders very recently about, making sure that we maintain the highest levels of trust and confidence in New Zealand Police. I've set targets to get us back up to 80%, and we're tracking in the right direction. So what I'd say, Lisa, is very conscious of what's happening over there, and it's a reminder to all law enforcement around the world of how it can go wrong quite easily. And I'm also very, very proud of all the effort that we put into working with all communities and all citizens. So we keep it that way.
So you don't teach critical race theory?
No, we one of
you
our
do.
No, sorry. Our values, which we're very, very proud of, is things like commitment to Māori and the treaty, diversity, empathy, and things like that. So we spend a lot of time, we put a lot of effort into understanding New Zealand's history, different perspectives, the treaty, and things like that. So, my observation, having been a policeman for over 30 years, is that we have gone from strength to understand our role in law enforcement, how we interact with communities, how we embrace and learn from things that haven't always gone too well. And that all starts at the police college. And every time we welcome a wing, at the moment every 5 weeks, we start with a pohiri, and it all begins from there. So throughout people's police careers, we put a lot of effort into taking a great deal of pride in the values that matter to us as Kiwis, not just as police people.
No, that's great. You're just not really answering the question. What is the training?
Around race, I suppose, about, as it is. Because I think what Lisa's referring to is that the British police officers seem to be so brainwashed into going from racists against the minority communities to, it's been a very blunt tool rather than using their own common sense, their own policing professionalism. They've been inculcated by race theory.
Well, no, that is not something that in New Zealand we would support or endorse in policing. We treat everybody as equal, and that's our starting point, and that's the way it must remain. So, there's a lot that we have to put effort into when it comes to people training to be good police officers, and understanding our history is where we start. But we treat everybody as equal, and I can't speak for what they do in places like the UK. Our trust and confidence comparably is actually very, very strong, and it's strong for a reason.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Newstalk ZB 0800 80 10 80. It's 10:24.
Bob picks his nose, Kim files her nails, Ted mutters to himself, and Tony's farts are so deadly they make your eyes water. All these things can be fixed by some office partitions. Available from NXP. NXP, business supplies, sorted.
Business supplies.
Sorted.
I work on Key Street. I get my hot chocolate on Lawn Street. I got my winter coat from Queen Street. I take lunchtime strolls in Vic Park. And when I need a doctor, that's easy. I go to CityMed on Albert Street, and I can usually get an appointment that suits.
CityMed, your GP, pharmacy and x-rays all in the CBD. So if you work in the city, it's real easy to see a doctor in the city. CityMed, your GP in the CBD at 8 Albert Street. They're taking new patient enrolments now. Visit citymed.co.nz.
G'day New Zealand! The Godfrey Hirst and Feltex Wood and Wool Flooring Sale is here. From May to June, enjoy special pricing on beautifully crafted timber flooring and naturally luxurious New Zealand-made wool carpets. It's the perfect time to refresh your home with quality flooring designed for comfort, style and durability. Visit your local retailer and ask about the Godfrey Hirst and Feltex Wood and Wool flooring sale. But being quick, it won't last long.
When my daughter told me to keep my brain active, she was surprised to hear I'd just been to a talk on oceans, and next week I'd be learning all about human adaptation over shared lunch in a gallery. She looked at me and just stared. She said she was thinking of crosswords. I told her she needs to get out more. Love Heart is social learning for people over 60 who are still wildly curious about the world. 6-week courses, learning lunches, learning adventures, live in-person social learning. Heart.co.nz, because sharp minds don't retire.
The Volvo XC90 B5 Ultra Bright has arrived at Archibald and Short at Green Lane and North Shore. From $119,990 with panoramic sunroof, air suspension, Harman Kardon sound and Google built-in. Giltrap.com. We love cars.
In seconds, winter wind conditions on the water can turn unforgiving. Don't bet on your life this winter. If in doubt, don't go out.
It's autumn, which means the fight for the office thermostat begins. NXP helps defend your ideal temperature, with fans to heaters, right through to sharp, pointy things to protect the dial. NXP, business supplies, sorted.
Business supplies.
Sorted.
Streaming live on our free iHeart app. Kerre Woodham Mornings. Engaging conversation on Newstalk ZB.
Newstalk ZB 1027. Troy, you have a question for our Police Commissioner.
Yes, hello Commissioner. Thank you for coming on to this and fronting up on important issues. And firstly, a thank you to hear the crime numbers are down with ram raids and serious crimes reported. I think you guys also so often get slammed. I think you also deserve a bit of praise on some things.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
Thanks.
My question's on the Proceeds of Crime Act. Firstly, how is that being enforced and enforced strongly when we've got gang pads like in Auckland, we've got Marua Road, headhunters. Obviously, these guys can afford good lawyers to be able to keep pushing to try and stop the proceeds of crime actually going back into that. So how are we enforcing that? Are we pushing it strongly? And the second side of that, what is that actual fund used towards as well?
Yeah, look, thanks, Troy. Thanks for your compliments for the hard work of my team across the country. When it comes to the proceeds of crime, we've put a lot of resource into asset restraint over the last few years, and wherever we are faced with a situation where we believe assets are accumulated through crime, then we have mechanisms where we can restrain property. Once we've done that, of course, it goes through quite a lengthy process at times before a decision is made ultimately, not by the police, but by judiciary in terms of whether that property or assets is forfeited to the Crown. And of course, if it is, then the funds from that go into a consolidated fund. So I think over the last sort of 10 years in particular, we have put a lot of extra resource into making sure that we put our best case forward to restrain assets. And that's why we hire people, very clever people like forensic accountants. And they work very closely with my staff. And if I think you've raised Marua Road, I was there the day that we went in there and we made some arrests and we restrained that property. And I was delighted to see that not that long ago that property was forfeited to the consolidated to the Crown, the consolidated fund. So we will continue to work really, really hard because we know that crime, organised crime in particular, does result in the accumulation of assets. That's why criminals do that. And so we'll continue to work hard to take those assets away. When the second part of your question, what happens with the money? Well, once it's in the consolidated fund, of course, bids can go up against that. And there's always more bids than there is money in the fund. But so long as it goes to initiatives that will add value back to New Zealanders, to communities, then I think we would all agree that's the right way to deal with the funds. And the police are involved in some of the sponsorship of those papers that go forward, and over the years I've seen some great initiatives come out of the opportunity to bid against that money, particularly when it comes to resilience to organised crime and what we can do for communities in terms of dealing with the demand and the addiction. So a lot of thought goes into how that money is then used, and that's what Kiwis would expect too.
Thank you very much, Troy. Newstalk ZB 1030.
Newstalk ZB Auckland, time saver traffic.
Switch to AMI car insurance. Now we've got a crash in Papakura, Grove Road near Clevedon Road. Do update us, 0800 jammed. Earlier breakdown on the southwestern has been cleared between Cavendish and Lambie Drive. The southern is flowing well, so is the northern and the northwestern too. No delays Upper Harbour Motorway. AMI roadside rescue is free with every AMI comprehensive car policy. T's and C's apply. Time saver traffic.
Bunnings Trade is here to help you get set for winter with 134 Trade. For quick quotes and pricing, stock queries, order and delivery updates and general inquiries, contact the 134 Trade team today on 0800 134 872. Bunnings Trade, helping business is our trade.
Turn up the heat with a Subway 6-inch spicy meal from just $16.50. Get a new peri-peri style chicken sub or a Korean style barbecue steak sub, a drink and a cookie. Subway, good food, good value. Orders now. T's and C's apply.
When you've got a fleet on the move, every litre counts. That's where the McFall fuel card comes in. Competitive pricing, nationwide coverage, and the backing of a team who know your business. Whether it's 2 utes or a dozen trucks, McFall is right there with you, keeping your business fueled, focused, and moving forward. It's more than a card. It's a smarter fuel solution for today and tomorrow. Apply for your McFall fuel card now at mcfallfuel.co.nz.
For the biggest moments in international rugby, you'll find them on Newstalk ZB and iHeartRadio, thanks to Access Solutions. When the job calls for serious lifting power, from scissor lifts to scaffolding, forklifts and cherry pickers, go straight to accesssolutions.co.nz. From towering tries to the highs and lows on and off the field, stay across the latest from the world's top rugby nations. Newstalk ZB's international rugby coverage with Access Solutions, lifting the game and elevating your business to the top.
Tori and Ben didn't think they needed a DVS system.
We've got double glazing.
Have you still got that cold, damp feeling?
Yeah, we do.
So Tori and Ben got DVS home ventilation, and its fresh air in, stale air out technology went to work, making their rooms drier and healthier. Say no to that cold, damp feeling. Say yes to DVS. Your healthy home isn't complete without it.
The heart of a healthy home, DVS.
Newstalk ZB headlines.
With Your Ride, New Zealand's #1 taxi app, download Your Ride today. The countdown is on to high tide on Wellington's southern coast about 11:30, forecast to bring massive swells with evacuations ordered. Wellington's Bering Head has already recorded an 8.5 metre wave with a 9.9 metre swell at Canterbury's Steep Head. A state of emergency covers Wellington's southern and eastern wards. Conversation is swirling around a senior police officer throwing his hat into the election ring for Labour, with suggestions he didn't inform his bosses soon enough. The police commissioner said he only found out on Sunday, while Labour says the candidate told a supervisor last Thursday. The Energy Minister insists the government is not retreating from renewables by pushing ahead on an LNG terminal. The Aluminium Extruders Association says we need tariffs to ensure that local manufacturers aren't undercut by overseas suppliers. A foreign policy analyst says despite the large-scale attacks on Iran, its Air Force and Navy still has capacity to inflict damage on the US. Two cousins, one seat. Why Mananui Ramsden said no to a spot on Labour's list. Find out why at nzherald.co.nz. Back to Kerre Woodham.
Malcolm, thank you very much. Gosh, so many questions for you. Now, one we have been asked via text and email, and one we were discussing the other day. Should officers be routinely armed? My view, says Paul, is yes, they should. And I was staggered that on average police will only discharge firearms 4 or 5 times per year around the country, despite the acts of aggression against police.
Well, I think, Kerry, that that speaks to the outstanding work of my frontline staff in dealing with extremely volatile and high-risk situations.
But this would be happening every single day. They'd be dealing with methed-out nutters, and there is real risk to themselves, to the public, and yet they do not have to fire their firearms. only 4 or 5. I thought I was misreading it when I saw the stats. I thought it must be 40 to 50 or 400 to 500.
No, well, I think that we have put so much effort into our training and our de-escalation of how to deal with these situations that we don't always want to go straight to a firearm, obviously.
No.
And I think back when I started 30 years ago, to keep us safe, we had a pair of handcuffs, a wooden baton and a cotton shirt. And now, we had a 38 Smith & Wesson revolver. And, I think about policing now and what we've invested in, whether that's equipment, tasers, OC spray, obviously, Glocks, M4s. But I always maintain, and I always say this to new recruits, when they start on their police career journey and they've got 20 weeks of training ahead of them, I said, you're going to learn how to use all these different tactical options. But just remember that the biggest asset that we've all got in dealing with the things that we confront in policing is the way we talk to people. And that is why with de-escalation training, it's about how do you walk into a very, very high-risk and volatile situation where, yes, we confront people who are high on whatever it is and are very, very violent. We must carefully manage that situation to make good decisions, and that's why those stats are the way they are, and it's a credit to my frontline staff because it's tricky, and they are assaulted every single day and night across our country, and they're kicked, they're punched, they're spat at, and no one turns up to work to do the job that we do, to be kicked, punched or spat at.
And the abuse.
And the abuse, of course, and that can be very, very personal too.
Yeah.
But, we just must remember that, we wear a uniform and people don't see generally the human being behind that uniform. But so we as an executive and as a set of district commanders, we've worked really, really hard over the last 18 months to speak to our frontline staff when they deal with complex situations, and we reach out to them frequently. I spoke to 2 of my colleagues late last night who were assaulted, and just to check in with them, make sure they're okay, because some of what they do confront, as we say, Kerre, is disgraceful. And I don't want that to impact on them and their police careers because this is such a great job. But, reaching out to our frontline staff is not just something that I do. It's my wider executive. It's their district commanders. That is about us as leaders in policing, reaching out to good men and women, good human beings, and just say, hey, you okay? Thanks for the job that you do.
So if they want to be armed, and I've seen a shift in attitude from the surveys that are done. When I first started in this job, the Police Association survey said, no, we don't want to be routinely armed. That's shifted. Do you support the routine arming, or do you think the body cameras are the next step then, perhaps, if we have 2 guns? Where are you on this?
So on my very first day as the Commissioner, 18 months ago, I got asked that question, and I said, look, I would prefer to live in a country where actually we didn't have to routinely arm our police. And that hasn't changed. But I've also said that if the time came, because circumstances were such that actually being routinely armed was required, then we'd need to have that conversation. But for now, I think New Zealanders can be very proud of their police in that we don't feel the need to carry firearms all the time. But we have put a lot of work into making sure that they're a lot more accessible. And when I was a frontline constable, we didn't have a firearm in the car. We had to go to our sergeant's vehicle that
sign something in triplicate and
all sorts of things like that. But now they're a lot more accessible. They're in all of our frontline vehicles, and we've also added the training, the de-escalation training to that, which is probably the most effective skill that we all have on the front line. So I still hope that we live in a country where actually we don't need to carry firearms routinely, but always up for the conversation if we get to that point. But we're not there.
Not there yet.
No, definitely not.
Tom, a very good morning to you. Hello, Tom.
Oh, yes, good morning. Was that myself?
It was. Did you give an assumed name, Tom?
Beg pardon?
Did you give an assumed name?
No. My name is Tom Humphrey.
Right.
Sometime back, for 12 years or more, I was secretary of the Sporting Shooters Association.
Right.
But, now I've got into a little bit of difficulty with them over that. In fact, I haven't had a complaint about my firearms in 70 years. But got in a bit of trouble now.
Okay, so what's your question? What's your question?
My question is, I heard, beg your pardon.
That's okay.
I heard Commissioner Sir, thank you for your work, by the way, that you would receive a question or complaint or suggestions personally from the member of the public. Is that still the case?
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Yeah, very happy to take a question from you. Hopefully I can answer it.
Thank you very much. I'm going to send it to you, though, by the way.
Okay, so you've just got some feedback you'd like to give the Commissioner, have you? In writing?
Yes, one thing I'd really like to say, sir, the guns are all around the place because the buyback did not occur for people without licences, such as all the gang members. And that is why they've still got a lot of them. We're a bit outnumbered. But that was it. Just want to know if you've received my complaint, because I've sure got one. The police came the other night and smashed the only door in my house that was locked. I've got 6 doors coming in. And I thought it was a gang. It turned out to be the police.
Tom,
and I haven't heard from them since.
Okay, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Okay, so yes, so if somebody is in a position where they feel they've been unfairly treated by the police, what do they do?
Well, of course, in our business here, we receive complaints. There, people can reach out. Just jump on our website. There's some channels there that people can send a complaint to. Of course, there's also the Independent Police Conduct Authority. So there's a number of different options, and reach out and tell us. Tom can reach out and tell us what he needs to tell us, and we can see that through.
What happens when you do the policing work and then the judiciary let you down and let you down and let you down and let you down, and you look across the ditch at Australia and the judiciary seems to back up the police in terms of trying to prevent crime and punish crime when crime occurs? A lot of texters and emailers and callers have told me over the years that that's one thing that really saps their morale, is to do the hard work of policing and then you watch a sadistic rapist walk away or a drink driver walk away after killing a young woman. How do you get the judiciary on side to give sentences that better reflect it?
Well, police people, not just me, but police people can't comment on the decisions or actions of the judiciary. That's not for us. In fact, we've got to stay very clear of all of that. Frankly, our job is to enforce the law. What do you say to victims? What do you say to a young woman who's been put through the mill by a defence lawyer, questioned about every aspect of her sexuality? So she's trying to protect other women from this man, and then they get they walk out after 2 years. Yeah, well, we have to work, and we do work really, really hard to put our best foot forward on behalf of those victims. And
yes, you do, and there's never a complaint about the police ever.
Yeah, and that's our job. So we put the best case forward with the victim in mind, obviously, and then everything else, all the other bits of evidence that we might put the strongest case forward.
And it works because they're convicted. It's the sentencing.
Yeah, and that's the bit that it's not for me to comment on, obviously. That's the role of the judiciary to make those decisions. We continue to work with victims in terms of understanding the outcomes, whatever those may be, guilties, acquitted, we work as best we can, and I'm certainly proud of the work that we do in that space, because I think New Zealand leads the way globally in terms of our interactions with victims.
Do you ever advise them not to take a case?
Look, it's really hard to comment on, but we explain the different options, we explain the different impacts, and obviously we take victims' views into account every time, as best as we possibly can. So it's about understanding that process through the judicial system. And look, we deal with people who don't want to go down that path, and we have to take that on board. It's not always the final say, but we have to take those into account, and I think we do a good job with that.
Is it good for victims of sexual crime in particular to come forward, even if they don't want to pursue a case because they don't want to go through the horror of being grilled by the defence lawyers and then have a wet sentence handed out? But is it still worthwhile to let the police know what happened so that you can see a pattern of behaviour?
Yes.
If there is a woman or man who comes forward complaining of sexual assault.
Of course. And we deal with a lot of people who want to tell us something as they feel we should know, because that may prevent, depending on what the information is, that may allow us to do something to prevent there being another victim, and that's what a lot of people talk to us about.
Thank you very much. Newstalk ZB 14 to 11.
At Miranda Smith Home Care, we've been proudly supporting New Zealanders for over 25 years, making us the country's longest-running private home care agency. We believe that when people stay in their own homes, they thrive with greater independence, comfort and peace of mind. From companionship and personal care to overnights, dementia care and palliative support, we do it all. Our dedication to quality, dignity and genuine support has made Miranda Smith one of the most trusted names in the industry. Call our experienced teams on 0800 600 026 or visit mshomecare.co.nz. Miranda Smith Home Care. Our care, your way.
This is an announcement from Civil Defence. Between 6 and 7 p.m. on June the 14th, we're testing the emergency mobile alert. Therefore, we advise against partaking in hide-and-seek and other hiding-centric activities. For more, here's Barry Kane from Hidden Arts New Zealand. Barry? Where did Barry go? Anyway, on June the 14th, between 6 and 7 p.m, listen out for the emergency mobile alert.
What was that?
Oh, Barry, you were behind that curtain. Very devious.
Introducing 2 new cutting-edge formulas from the trusted name in NAD supplementation, True Niagen. True Niagen Beauty supports healthy hair, skin and nails with a precision blend of Niagen and beauty ingredients. True Niagen Immune combines Niagen with essential vitamins and minerals to support year-round immune health. Visit trueniagen.co.nz today and support health and vitality at the cellular level. Always read the label, use as directed. Supplementary to a balanced diet. Matakana Health, Auckland.
Ever looked at a house on a real estate website but still not known if you could afford it? The new and improved One Roof app can help with that. It has property values for homes around the country, so you can compare places you love side by side. And it lets you search smarter with in-depth filters to focus on what matters most to you in your new home. One Roof. Love where you live. Download the all-new app today from the App Store.
Your Volkswagen, Skoda or Holden deserves expert care, and at Giltrap Penrose, that's exactly what you'll get. Factory-trained technicians, genuine parts, and just 2 minutes from the Southern Motorway. Book at giltrap.com. We love cars.
Have your say on the stories shaping the day. Kerre Woodham Mornings with Pinnacle Life's multi-award-winning life insurance online advice tool. Newstalk ZB.
Lots and lots of thanks for you from numerous emailers and texters. So not just for you, but for your people. I want to thank him and all his staff and colleagues for the outstanding work they do each and every day in our community. So we're getting lots like that. Now, which is lovely. So take a moment while I ask the next question. The move on orders. Tamitha Paul says you're all going to just go in there and hose them out of the inner city. It doesn't seem to me to be the way it works from what I've seen. There's a lot of empathy out there for... Oh gosh, who isn't turning on the mic? Here we go, I'm just barking. There we go, mic's on.
Yeah, look, absolutely, Kerry. I mean, obviously that's still working its way through the select committee process around move-on orders. But look, the intent of move-on orders is to give police a mechanism to remove someone who's exhibiting antisocial behaviour, who's a nuisance to any community just wanting to get on and do what it does. This is not about targeting homeless people, as some seem to have interpreted it. This is just about giving the police the opportunity to deal with people who are creating a nuisance, antisocial behaviour.
But don't those laws exist already? Like if someone's urinating in a shop doorway or fighting in public?
Yeah, absolutely. There are some relevant laws at present that we use, no doubt about that. But this is also about people who may need to be taken to a different place for support. There are many different agencies or members of family that could help with that person. So it's about removing them from a situation that's causing disturbance and upset or an inconvenience, and allowing us to be able to deal with it in a way that allows that community to get on with what it wants to do. So still working its way through select committee process, but I think the intent of a move-on order has been misinterpreted by some.
willfully on the part of others. Joe, you have a question for the Police Commissioner?
Just a quick one, Commissioner. There's dirt bikers, running rampant all over our roads, and then regular car users, like we get pulled over and given a ticket, and these guys just do the fingers to the police and then tapping the side of the car, and it's all over social media. What can be done about it?
Yeah, look, Joe, thank you. And obviously our road policing obligations, is one of our key deliverables in terms of keeping the roads safe. But we also acknowledge, and I acknowledge that, particularly here in Auckland, dirt bikers, have been behaving in a way that no one will tolerate. So that is why my staff are working incredibly hard, and as recently as the last couple of weekends have been out in force dealing with that and the individuals who are causing those problems. And we will continue to do that because it's not acceptable, some of that behaviour. But we obviously need to balance our priorities with that priority with just policing the roads in a general sense. That won't change. But we are very conscious of the problem and the impact on communities, and that is why we have put the effort in that we have and will continue to do.
There's a lot of complaints about the dirt bikers coming through as well. It's not just and I think it also speaks to the frustration people felt during the last administration when you had the gang members riding rampant all over the roads, doing exactly what they wished for their tangi. And mind you, we haven't seen much of that recently.
No, look, I think that my staff have done an amazing job actually enforcing the new gang laws 18 months on.
I love not seeing the patches up at my local shopping centre.
Yeah,
I love that because they were advertising.
That's right. I think we all do. And, I'm actually quite pleased to also see gang members themselves making sensible decisions and realising that it's an absolute priority for the police that if you wear your patch or some other insignia out there, then you take a big risk. And that's why we've seen so many patches and other insignia seized and arrests made, because no one will tolerate that. And we'll continue to put the pressure on gang members who try and have a go.
I just wonder if gang members themselves feel a bit of relief that they haven't got a target quite literally on their back when they're walking down the street. Newstalk ZB, it is 7 to 11.
Call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber.
Want a bathroom renovation done right the first time? At Regency Plumbing, every renovation is carried out by qualified tradespeople with almost 30 years' experience in Auckland. We manage the whole project from start to finish, delivering high-quality workmanship, attention to detail, and no surprises or stress. Book this month and get your free in-home consultation and design.
Call Regency Plumbing on 0800 Plumber.
If your bank can't help with a home loan, talk to us at Pepper Money. We're a non-bank lender, which means we specialise in options outside the traditional lending box. Things like unusual income, credit history, or paperwork issues. If we can find a way to help you, we will. So, if you need flexible home loan options, talk to us. Really helpful loan options. Pepper Money. Applications are subject to responsible lending checks, credit assessment and loan eligibility. Terms and conditions, fees and charges apply.
A Kiwi pharmacist spent decades listening to patients from around the world. He saw a gap, developed FDA-listed medicines for the US market, and the first is selling on Amazon in America with 5-star reviews. Hi, I'm Tim O'Donoghue, CEO of HealthTechs. We're raising capital on Pledge Me right now to expand our self-care platform in the US, and we'd love you to join us. Kiwis taking on the USA. To invest in HealthTechs, go to pledgeme.co.nz.
Jet fuel soaring? Cancel the holidays. Cozy up at home with iFurniture's 22nd anniversary sale. They squeeze the middle class, we squeeze the furniture prices. Shop online now at ifurniture.co.nz or visit our stores today. iFurniture. Better, cheaper, smarter.
The all-new One Roof app takes the guesswork out of buying property. Check values, compare homes and search with smart filters. One Roof. Love where you live. Download the app today.
Love changes everything.
Giltrap Group brings you a smarter way to drive. Thinking electric? Will make the switch and ditch the pump. Explore affordable electric and hybrid options across New Zealand's best range at giltrap.com. We love cars.
Looking for your next escape?
Save up to 25% on hotel bookings with all Accor.
Choose from brands like Pullman, Novotel, Mantra, Ibis and more.
Sale ends June 29. T's and C's apply.
Book at all.com.
Mars, that's simply not true. Kerre, you sound angry. I think the police superintendent is doing a great job. he would be the first to say it's his team who are doing a great job. No, I was just explaining to Richard Chambers how if I am angry, then the arms go up under the boobs and the lean back and my lips thin and my nostrils flare, and he hasn't had that at all. And I'm giving him a lovely Patsy question at the end too, which is, what are you most proud of in your 18 months?
Kerry, I think over the last 18 months, some very public issues have played out for policing. And I'm just so proud of my staff that we've just got on and we've continued to do the job that we're here to do. And I know that Kiwis appreciate what we do, and I'm very proud of all my staff across the country. We just despite all that noise and all those issues, we just get on.
And it was really nasty stuff too. It's not nice to deal with. Hey, and you've got 4 police officers from Australia who want to join up. How many more do we have to get to even the balance?
Yeah, look, we've got quite a few actually, Kerry. But the reality is we are still getting reach out from Australian police officers want to come to our country, and that's great. And I've got lots to want to come home as well. So bring it on, I say.
Taking a big drop in pay to come here.
Hey, look, who wouldn't want to live in New Zealand? It's a great country, right?
It's
I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
It's getting better all the time. And why have I got this blast from the past in my ears? Marching on to Spain, the 82 World Cup song is your choice.
Well, I was thinking this morning, when I was 9, we had the World Cup football, and we're about to see the All Whites play again.
So best of luck to them.
Give it heaps.
Thank you very much, Police Commissioner Richard Chambers.
That brings back some memories.